start our practice in a nice, comfortable seated position on your mat. You can have your legs crossed in front of you, or if you want to raise your hips up a bit, you might want to sit on a block. Just have a couple of blocks handy for our practice today. You can also have your legs out in front of you if that feels more comfortable for your body. Just taking a few moments to settle in with our breath and prepare our bodies and minds for our practice today. So resting your hands either on your knees or in your lap, we'll start to lengthen the spine, even the back of the neck, by bringing the chin in just a little bit and starting to sit up nice and tall. Our gaze can be down at the ground, or maybe you just close your eyes and start to connect with your breath. So starting by taking some nice deep inhales, nice deep exhales. And so we're going to even out our breath by using just counting. So maybe you inhale on a count of 4 or 5, and then exhale on the same count, whatever your count is. With every inhale, feel the spine lengthen. With every exhale, feel more grounded. Letting the shoulders start to relax away from the ears. Already feeling more in tune with our bodies as we concentrate on the breath and the movement of the body during the breath, the inhale and the exhale. And then if you will, just take your hands and let's rub the palms together to generate some warmth in the hands. And then we're going to take the palms and just cup over the eyes. Let your eyes start to flutter open into your palms, and then rest your hands by your side. So we're going to come first to a child's pose. So let's come to hands and knees in table pose. Fingers are spread wide. Knees are going to be over the hips and shoulders over the wrists. And then we're just going to widen the knees out and bring the big toes together. And go ahead and push your hips back towards your heels first before you start to lower your torso. And resting your forehead either on the mat, you can rest them on the back of your hands, or even a block here. And just notice how you start to have more room in the lower back and hips here. Just lengthening the spine. Arms can be reaching out in front and starting to feel that energy move through the body as we breathe. See if you can find that one-to-one breath that we just practiced in our very first seated posture. Feeling that energy all the way to the lower back and the hips, through the rib cage. Just take one more nice big breath here. Reach the hands forward. Lift your hips and bring your knees back under your hips. So you should have your shoulders over your wrists and hips over the knees. Fingers are spread wide. Coming into tabletop pose. We'll start with just a few cat-cows here. So as you inhale, drop the belly, lift the head and the hips. And then as you exhale, press the mat away from you. Coming into cat, looking down at your belly button, big arch here towards the ceiling. Move with your breath. Inhale into cow, exhale into cat. Nice and smooth movements. Connecting breath and movement. Let's just do one more in each direction, wherever you are. And then we'll meet back with a neutral spine. So in our neutral spine, we have that beautiful curve, but still there's some engagement in the core here. So we're holding our body away from the mat. So still pressing in with the hands and engaging the core. Let's curl the toes under and lift the hips up and back into our very first downward dog. So looking forward, make sure that your fingers are spread wide, your hands are about shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit more. Feet are lined up with your hips. So you can have a slight bend in the knees, probably hamstrings are a little bit tight, especially if you're doing this for the first time today. So maybe just gently start to walk one knee and then the other, bending and straightening. And let your hips kind of sway from side to side as we warm up the hamstrings. Lengthening the spine. Feel that energy come all the way from the fingertips up the arms, across the shoulders, down the spine. And then coming into a nice downward dog, keeping the knees bent. Heels reach towards the mat. They don't have to touch. Hips are reaching up towards the ceiling. And then we're just going to shift our weight forward so that our shoulders are over our wrists here. So a nice strong plank. You can also bring your knees to the ground here. So kneeling plank is also totally acceptable. Really pressing in with the balls of the hands just below the fingers and the tips of the fingers to take some weight off of the wrist. And then shift your weight back into downward dog. Taking some breaths here. Look forward, shift your weight, and just walk gently to the front of your mat, finding our very first forward fold. So again, nice little bend in the knees, fingertips are touching the mat. Belly and chest are rested on the thighs, release the head and neck. Inhale, come halfway up. So maybe bringing your hands to your shins, long spine here. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. One more time. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, sweep the arms out to the side. Come all the way up, hands through heart center. And then we're going to find mountain pose at the top of our mats. So with mountain pose, again, our feet are going to be hip width apart. We're going to stack our ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, and ears all in a straight line here. Palms are facing forward to open the shoulders. Lengthen the tailbone slightly down towards the ground as you lift the chest up. And again, your gaze can be down at the floor or you can close your eyes. Go ahead and lift your gaze. On your next inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Maybe looking up at the thumbs if that feels okay for your neck. Exhale, fold forward from the hip joints, touching the mat. Let the head and neck release. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way overhead. This time we're going to interlace the fingers. Let the index finger point straight up as we exhale to the right. And then inhale back to center. Exhale to the left. And back to center. Release the hands, exhale, fold forward. Release the head and neck, inhale halfway, exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, looking up at the thumbs, inhale through heart center, back into mountain pose. So now we're just going to take our chin and let our chin come down towards our chest, still staying in our strong mountain pose here. And then we're just gonna look over our right shoulder, kind of down at our right hand. If you can look that far. It's getting a nice little stretch here on the neck, and upper back even. Exhale, let the chin come to center. And then inhale, come to the other side. So just move with your breath here as it's like a pendulum. Exhaling center. Inhale to one side, back to center, to the other side. Let's just do that one more time on each side. And then the next time your chin comes to center, just lifting our gaze. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Hands through heart center. Finding mountain pose again. And now we're just going to bring our fingertips on our shoulders. Thumbs in back, fingers in front. And make some nice big circles towards the front. Inhaling as we come up, exhaling as we come down. So still keeping our breath and our movement in sync. One more big circle this way, and then we'll go back in the opposite direction. Inhale up, exhale down. One more big circle. Shake the arms out a little bit. And then we're going to take a little wider stance here. And so this has no alignment. It's really just a really nice movement just to let the joints, the hips, the shoulders, and the spine just really start to open up and have some movements and just organic movement. So just let the weight of your body and your arms kind of dictate the depth of your swing. And coming back to center, find mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. This time we're going to exhale the arms behind us, clasp our fingers, reach the knuckles down as we lift our hearts. Standing back bend here. Just take a few breaths. So even when we hold the poses, we still are breathing. See if you can get your shoulder blades down, your back, shoulders release away from the ears. Knuckles reach down towards the floor. And release the hands. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead through heart center and into mountain pose. And just reconnect with your breath here. Lifting your gaze, inhale, sweep the arms, exhale, fold. Inhale, come halfway up, lengthening the spine. This time we're going to plant the hands and step our feet back into plank pose. So knees can be up or down here. Your choice. We're going to keep the elbows close to the body. So our elbows are pointed back towards the back of the mat. We're going to keep them close to the body as we exhale and lower down in plank or kneeling plank. So your hands should be right under your shoulders. Just lift into a little baby cobra here. Keep those elbows in. Don't forget to breathe. And then pressing into the mat, you can come up through the knees if you like. Curl the toes. Push back into downward dog. Take a few breaths here. Just notice the quality of your breath and the quality of your down dog compared to that very first one we did just a few minutes ago. Looking forward, shift your weight. Walk all the way to the front of your mat. Inhale halfway, exhale fold. Inhale, sweep the arms through heart center and into mountain pose. Check in with your breath again. And so you might feel after that flow that your heart rate is elevated a bit. Maybe your breath is a little quicker, so we'll just give it a minute to catch up and slow down. And so looking down at your feet now, from mountain pose, I want you to step your feet a little wider. So your toes are pointing out. So we're gonna do a squat here. And if you need a block, that's perfectly okay. So I'll show you from the side. If you need a block, you can just put one right back here. Toes are out. So we can bring our hands to our heart here. And then as we lower our spine, see if you can make your spine come straight down. Maybe bring your hands to the outside of your knees. So if you need a block to sit on whatever height, go ahead and just place that under your hips. Bringing your hands to your heart, use your elbows to help press your knees out and to lengthen your spine. See if you can have your heels down towards the floor or on the floor. So lengthen the spine, reach up through the crown of the head. Fingertips come to the mat, straighten your legs, so we're in a forward fold here. And then we're gonna come back into our squat. And again, fingertips to the floor, folding forward, and then coming back into squat. This is our last one. Fingertips to the mat. And just heel toe your feet back under your hips. Releasing down into a forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step back into plank pose. Again, kneeling or full plank. Elbows stay close to the body. Exhale, lower, slow and controlled. And coming up into a little cobra here. Shoulders away from the ears. Pressing into the mat, coming back into downward dog. Take a few breaths. Looking forward, you can step, walk, or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, come halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms through heart center into mountain pose. And settle again. Always coming back to the breath. Lifting your gaze, inhale, sweep the arms, folding forward. Fingertips come to the mat now, or you can use blocks. If you need the floor a little closer to you, you can always use blocks here. I'm gonna step the left foot back into a long lunge. So make sure that your right knee is over your ankle. Fingertips are on the mat or blocks. Let that back leg be really strong. Let your hips start to sink down towards the mat. Make sure your spine is long and your chest is open towards the front of the mat. Let your shoulders come away from your ears. And then let's let the left knee come to the mat and untuck your toes. So if you have your blocks, you can bring those with you. As we walk our hands back, we're gonna lift the right toes up towards us. Pull that right heel dynamically back so you'll feel this more in the hamstrings and the right hip. And then walking forward. Tuck the left toes, come back into a low lunge. Use your right thigh to help you bring your torso upright. And then inhale, reach the arms overhead. Maybe bringing the elbows out a little bit so that you have more room for your shoulders here. Back leg is super strong. You can always have your left knee on the mat if you need a little bit more stability. And then we're just gonna exhale, bring the elbows in as we bring the left knee just above the mat. Inhale, reach. more time. And then finding that stability in our lunge. And now we're just going to fold forward on our exhale, reach the hands back. Inhale, reach the arms forward as we come up. 2 more times on the breath. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach. Settle. Find your breath. Bring the fingertips to the mat. We're going to take our left hand on the inside of the left foot. Again, block is great here if you need to bring the floor a little closer to you. Right hand on the right knee as you turn the belly button, the rib cage, and the chest to the right. If it feels okay for your shoulder, you can reach the right arm up, or you can just leave it on your low back. Take a few breaths. On your exhale, coming back to center. Fingertips on the mat. Bending the left knee, shift your weight and come forward into your forward fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Fingertips to the mat. This time the right leg goes back into a long lunge. Make sure that your left knee is over your ankle. So check for that alignment. It just keeps your knee safe. Use blocks if you would like. Lifting the heart forward. Let the hips start to sink down. Opening up the right hip flexor. Right knee floats to the mat, untuck your toes. If you're using blocks, just go ahead and bring those with you as we bring the left foot up towards your face. Pull the left heel back and say hello to your hamstrings. Finding your breath. Walk the hands forward. Curl the right toes under and lift your right knee if you like. Again, you can use your left hands to help you bring your torso upright, find your balance. You can also heel toe the left foot out to the left just a little. You need a little bit more balance, right to left. Hips sink down. Inhale, reach the arms up. Giving yourself space for your shoulders to stay away from your ears. Right leg is strong. If you wish, you can bring your elbows in as you bend the right knee. Inhale, reach. Exhale. Strengthen the back leg. And then we're going to exhale, fold forward. Belly and chest come to the thigh. Hands come behind you. Inhale, reach. 2 more times. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, reach. 1 more time. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach. And settle just for a few breaths. Find your strength and stability. Release the hands to the mat here. Again, you can use a block on the inside of the left foot. Right hand either comes to the mat or a block. Use your left hand to start to turn to the left. Belly button, rib cage, chest. If it feels okay for your shoulder, reaching your left arm up, or just let it come to your low back. Wherever you are in your twist, we're going to release back to center. Bend the right knee, step forward. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, coming through heart center and into mountain pose. Just find your breath again. Settle your body and your mind. And so we're going to move into a few chair postures. I find it, especially if you don't do chair pose a lot, to take a block and place it just above your knees so that you've got something kind of to hold into the midline. So your feet should still be in line with your hips, but if you wish, bring a block between your legs. So now, standing tall, building from the ground up, finding our mountain pose to begin with. But now also feeling, if you have that block between your legs, that you've got some engagement coming towards the midline. You've got some rotation in the upper thighs. So this time we're going to inhale the arms up, and then we're going to sit back. So make sure that your knees do not go over your toes, and that's just for the health of your knees. So just making a little visual check there. Your arms can also be straight out in front or even on the top of your thighs. So lengthening the spine here, sitting back. Notice with that block how you have some little bit extra energy going on there. So we're going to bring our hands to heart center. Right elbow is going to come across the body. This is where the block really helps to keep our hips even. And we're going to hook our right elbow just at the left knee. And then turning our gaze up towards the left elbow. If that feels okay. Notice our hips stay pretty even when we have this block between our knees. Take a couple of breaths. And then come back to center. So if you need to take a break to stand up, otherwise we'll go to the other side. So left elbow comes across to the right knee. So pressing the hands into each other and finding a nice twist here. Right elbow is pretty much up towards the ceiling. Holding that block to keep our hips level and even. Come back to center if you need to take a break to stand up. Otherwise, we're going to come to balance chair. So just coming to the balls of your feet. If that's not good for you, then just do one at a time. You can come to the ball of one foot and then switch. And then releasing the heels and the fingertips to the mat. You can remove your block. And just take some nice deep breaths in this forward fold. A slight bend in the knees. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, through the heart, back into mountain. And then lifting your gaze, inhale, reaching overhead, exhale, fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, this time plant the hands and bring both knees to the mat, back into table pose. Spreading your fingers nice and wide, making sure that your shoulders are over your wrists, hips are over the knees. Just finding that core strength, our natural spine. Let's just do a few little cat-cows here. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift the head and the shoulders and the hips. Exhale, pressing into the mat, find cat pose. Move with your breath. One more time, each direction, meeting back, neutral spine. And then we're just going to let both knees come to one side as we come all the way down to the mat. We're going to lower ourselves down to our backs. So you might want to grab the back of your thighs As you slowly roll down, bring your knees in and give yourself a little hug here. You can even make some circles with your knees to help you get a little bit of massage in the low back, and then go the other way. And then coming back to center, we're going to place the soles of the feet on the mat with the knees bent, so they're still in line with our hips. Bring the arms out to the side to help anchor the upper body. And we're going to lift the hips and just move them slightly to the right. And then cross the right thigh over the left thigh. Take a nice big inhale. As you exhale, let the knees just gently fall to the left, however much feels good to your body. So make sure that your shoulders stay really grounded here. You can even turn and look over your right fingertips. So twists are really good for our spine, for our digestion and internal organs. Just taking a few breaths here. And then slowly on your next inhale, coming back to center, uncross your legs. You might need to reposition your hips. And just kind of notice. So we've only done one side, we'll do the other. So this time lifting the hips, move the hips just an inch or so to the left. Cross the left thigh over the right. On your next exhale, let the knees come to the right. Look over your left fingertips. So just letting gravity do some work here. Notice if you have any tight spots and see if you can breathe a little bit of ease into those spots. Next breath, just slowly bring your knees back to center and uncross your legs. Let's let the feet be as wide as your mat. You can reposition your hips to the center. And just do a few little windshield wipers here. Just to release the low back. And then as we prepare for Shavasana, traditionally Shavasana would have your legs out straight, a little wider than your hips, and your arms beside you, palms up. That's not always comfortable for everybody, so if you've got some blocks or a bolster that you want to put under your knees, or you can, I call it TP legs, so have the feet out wide and let the knees just touch and come into Shavasana this way. Or you can have the legs out long, so whatever feels good for you. Go ahead and gently bring the chin in towards the chest as you lengthen the back of the neck. And start to bring your awareness to your jaw and face. See if you can release those muscles. See if you can release the skin around the eyes and the forehead. Front of the throat softens. And notice the heaviness of the big bones, especially in your body, the shoulders and the hips. Help us to feel really grounded, even the back of the head. And yet we are still open to the world and to new ideas. And so notice your breath in Shavasana, but without changing anything. So we're not going to count, we're not going to judge. We're just going to observe our natural breath. Maybe notice the movement that happens naturally in your body. And just be with your breath during Shavasana. And you're welcome to stay in Shavasana for however long you have to enjoy it. Otherwise, we're just gonna turn to our favorite side. And just resting your head on your arm for a breath or two. And gently push your way back to seated, where we began, using any props that you need to make yourself comfortable. And if you wish, you could join me with your hands at your heart. Just tapping into that goodness that is in all of us and being grateful for our practice together. Namaste.